Ali, it's Tom and Jack from Monday morning. How did Monday come round so quick?
I don't even have a clue, not a single clue.
Blinked on Friday and it's a Monday.
There's also lots of heavy news, lots of news.
Yeah.
Lots of big news, big changes, big news.
Big changes. Should we have a look at those big changes and big news?
I guess so.
Come on then, news, go. Vince McMahon is demanding major changes to NXT in a leaked message. Andrade wants Charlotte Flair in AEW, and a released WWE star is teasing a wrestling return. Find out who in a bit. The podcast curse struck again. It was Friday night that we saw another set of mass releases from NXT. Sam and I talked about this on Saturday morning. Just again, and this is, you know, according to notable sources like Dave, like Andrew Zarian, like Sean Ross Sapp, this is just going to be the thing for a while now.
Yes, and then more news has come out since from the Wrestling Observer, according to Dave Meltzer, basically suggesting that these cuts weren't just kind of your bog standard wave of WWE cuts. This was part of a thematic change within NXT, which personally I'm quite sad about. I'm not looking forward to, because it kind of takes away a lot of sorry, I'm just burping.
It's fine, it's fine.
Just takes away from a lot of things that I find appealing about NXT, basically.
Thematic changes to brands give me the burps as well. So what we know from this, and news since Sam and I talked about this on the weekend, where, you know, we've talked about like there was going to be like a new look and a new feel to NXT, and more news about that really gives you an idea of how this is going to go down. So Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and John Laurinaitis were the ones choosing the cuts for NXT. Triple H and Shawn Michaels not involved at all, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels have been the driving force behind NXT creative for a long time now.
This kind of confirms what a lot of people were wondering. There were always jokes made when you know, WWE would release a big favourite in NXT, and then everyone would go on Twitter and say, "Oh, Triple H must be fuming right now." Now, we didn't actually know that for a fact. This does seem to confirm that there was a clash in direction between degeneration Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and on the other hand you've got Vince, Brucey P, and John Laurinaitis, and I think that it seems like the latter of one.
Who'd have thought the DX and Vince McMahon storyline from 06 is still going on?
But IRL.
But IRL.
But away from keyboard.
Dave Meltzer had a little chat about this, didn't he? Away from keyboard. Dave Meltzer had a chat about this, and this is some of the wording he used. The feeling is that they lost the war with AEW and are getting back to it as a developmental system with younger and bigger.
Before you say this, this is the actual wording of what Meltzer's source has basically said to
Yeah, so this isn't wording that we created, this is the wording.
This is honestly the wording that apparently was a part of this internal direction that they're going to go in with NXT.
All right, the wording is, quote, "No more midgets, no one starting in their 30s, and people who can be box office attractions and main characters."
We're turning back the clock, Tom.
If I could turn back time.
So basically, you know, NXT became quite renowned for having this big sort of offshoot. It was kind of a hybrid style between WWE style and then indie style, and you had all these indie greats brought in, and
it became a super indie.
It did, and it was a haven for wrestlers who maybe didn't fit the required look or size that someone like Vince McMahon would typically look for on the main roster. And yeah, this seems to confirm that basically NXT is going to lose a lot of what makes it unique and a lot of what makes it special in the WWE landscape. They're going to go back to, you know, bigger guys, younger talent, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time NXT became so great because it was bringing in people like Kevin Owens, like Samoa Joe, people who've done it all on the indies and can bring that experience with them as well.
I know a lot of people will think, but hang on, a lot of the guys that were released from WWE are under 30 now anyway, so what's the problem? I think when they say younger guys, I think that it can't always necessarily be sort of age, it's as well as that taken into account, it's TV age.
Oh, right.
If you see what I mean. There are guys who are on here who are in their sort of late 20s, but, you know, been on NXT for quite a while and kind of have floated around and not really landed and aren't sort of ideas of what they want to go forward. And also, I think it's not said here, but when a lot of these cuts are driven by money, cheaper. Cheaper.
Just thinking there when you were talking about how old someone looks, TV age, could I apply for the new NXT?
Yeah, because you're under 30 and you've not been on NXT before.
But I am under 6 foot.
You can't teach that. That's a problem. Asher Hale was one of those guys that was released from NXT on Friday. He's broken his silence on that, and even he says in his quote on Twitter, "I know there's nothing I could have done to make things turn out any differently. There is a shift happening within the company, and I no longer fit what they are looking for. I wish I'd known that before moving my family down here, but we all take risks in life. It was a choice that I made."
This statement from Asher Hale, I think, is really effective and really drives this point home, which basically it throws into stark relief the real effect that this will have on individuals and families, because when you just see a list of releases and they're only characters you've seen on a screen, it's easy to go, oh, that's a shame, but when it's a list, it's hard to, sympathise with each one individually. Yeah. But what Asher Hale said here, I think, has made us all realise, or reminded us all, that every single one of these people getting released is a real person with real aspirations and in many cases families as well to look after. So it's a very, very sad situation.
Which is why, I always say, don't play the game of who's getting released next, because you're writing you're writing into the public forum, oh, I think this person, we get this person, we let go, this person, we let go, because that person will read it. And you know what? I've been in that situation in a previous job where I saw my name pop up on a forum saying, oh, they're probably going to sack him, and it's horrible.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, they did, but that's beside the point. But it's horrible to read it before it happens.
Yes.
So just some food for thought. Fightful have put some meat on the bone of this, haven't they, Jag?
They absolutely have as well. They have said, this is, of course, Fightful, as Tom mentioned, hits to morale happened well before this past weekend's releases, with female WWE talent speaking to Fightful about their concerns for the future of their booking, as well as who would be hired to work with them once Johnny Ace was put back in his talent relations spot. This may link back to stories we heard a few months ago, which I remember, where there were reports of women's wrestlers in WWE worrying or kind of really hoping for the return of Becky Lynch sooner rather than later, because they felt like the booking of the women's division had generally just gone down since she'd been out of the way. So that seems to tie in with that. But yes, it's another low point of morale for NXT, which is a recurring story, it seems like.
Yeah, in fact, Five will go on to say it seems like there's been a lot of NXT morale low posts since the pandemic, and there have been a noticeable shift happening since the pandemic started for NXT. And it put in a lot of their plans, big plans for NXT, the pandemic put the stoppers on them. Triple H talked quite proudly about this plan to have this NXT global local territory system. NXT UK was the template for that.
Yeah.
And there were plans to do, there was conversations of NXT Canada, NXT India, NXT Japan, and I would imagine with them going back to the bare bones of NXT off of America, I doubt those plans will see much more fruition. But we don't know at this point what we don't know. In terms of stars that will be considered, congratulations to Gable Stevenson, who is signed to WWE.
Yes.
Who won himself a gold medal on the weekend in the Olympics.
In fairness to Gable Stevenson, from what I've heard from my colleagues here, he seems to be a lovely man.
Yeah,
a
really
very
does.
Lovely guy.
Really does.
I think it was Ross who did a straight to hell.
Ross did straight to hell.
And he came across like a really nice guy. So that's very nice.
Well, Triple H heaped praise on Gable.
Called him a machine, he did.
Yeah.
Called him a machine because, of course, Gable Stevenson won a wrestling gold medal, a freestyle 125 kg gold at the Olympic Games, which recently ended. I watched the final, or watched a replay of the final, and when they said he scored like a last-minute takedown, because I'm so conditioned to pro wrestling, I was expecting like a big German suplex or something, but it was far less dramatic than that. From my own, I'm sure to the amateur wrestling world, it was very dramatic and very exciting, and I respect that, but to me it looked like they kind of went, But fair play to
we used to all those 1-2 kickouts from NXT, aren't we?
Yeah, I thought one of the...
They need to wind that in.
I thought the other guy's manager was going to get involved and distract him and powder in the eyes and stuff.
Incidentally, don't be surprised if they put the title on Gable Stevenson in this new version of NXT.
I know, but then again, he's one that I'm not too worried about, because he's super mobile and seems pretty charismatic as well.
And he just won a gold medal! Without a broken freaking neck!
And yes, WWE have quite a good track record when it comes to pushing American Olympic gold medals in freestyle wrestling, so hopefully it'll turn out well.
Meanwhile, AEW, bit of news from them, and Andrade El Idolo has some family matters to attend to in All Elite Wrestling, apparently.
Yes, according to Dave Meltzer, Andrade has told people he wants the whole family in AEW. By the family, Meltzer says, he means Roosh, Bestia Del Ring, his father, Dragon Lee, his brother alongside Roosh, Rick, who I'm guessing means Ric Flair and not a member of Andrade's family that I'm not aware of, but I think Rick means Ric Flair, and Ashley, which means Charlotte Flair, it's her real name. So, that's quite interesting that Andrade wants his whole clan in AEW. But Meltzer then said, which I compared in our work chat to quite Obi-Wan Kenobi-esque line here from Dave Meltzer. He said, but I sense that Charlotte wants to be in WWE. As if 1,000 voices had cried out and been suddenly silent.
Look up to the skies and then Charlotte looking down on the Ewoks. Dave
She's not dead.
Dave doesn't know. Dave doesn't know when Charlotte's contract's ending as well. Would you reckon if it does end? Do you reckon with all the ructions in WWE at the moment, would Charlotte go that way?
It's hard.
It's
isn't
hard
it?
to know, isn't it? Because I feel like she's a very WWE.
She's very WWE
star.
But then I would have also said that about your Braun Strowmans, your Bray Wyatts. So I think
true.
I'm unwilling to decide either way.
Talking of former WWE guys, can we just readjust this table?
Yeah, it's getting silly, isn't
cloth,
it?
I don't know whether you can appreciate it on the green screen, but they do this on news nights sometimes. Final Buddy Murphy news to end the video on. Former WWE star Buddy Murphy is teasing a comeback to the wrestling, isn't he, Jack?
Yes, he's put a video on social media. Have you seen the video?
I have indeed. It's very much it harkens back to John Moxley's Prison Break video.
I absolutely got
which
Moxley
was put
vibes.
together by Sick Nick Mondo.
Ah, yes. Everyone was like, "Wow, he does very good videos."
Yeah.
Yes, this depicts Buddy Murphy, or a figure we assume to be Buddy Murphy. You can't see his head, wearing like an all-white, like prison or asylum kind of looking garb, and banging his back against a wall, impatiently waiting. And there's like a security guard in the background. It seems exciting. We don't know what his new name's going to be yet, which is another thing he's been teasing on social media as well.
Oh, because his Twitter handle's now B_M_. What if it's just BM?
Just BM, yeah.
Surname Bargains.
B&M.
B&M Bargains.
Way to the ring. B&M Bargains.
Accompanied by some absolute steals at low prices. B&M Bargains, former Cultaholic Hall of Famer. So I think...
Home Bargains is called.
Oh, it's Home Bargains, wasn't it?
Let's not mix up the two.
What's Home Bargains doing in the Impact Zone?
Yeah.
I assume... Look at the state of our table today, it's disgusting. I assume New Japan of America.
Oh, do you? That would be a good fit.
Followed by New Japan of Japan.
Yes.
But initially New Japan of America.
I mean, his style has often been compared to Kenny Omega's, and Kenny Omega was someone who did rather well in New Japan, so I suspect Buddy Murphy might do well as well, if that is true.
More on this NXT story as it develops at cultaholic.com, and later on the YouTube channel, a little video essay I've put together called Is It the End of NXT as We Know It? That'll be later on today, I think.
I feel fine.
Hey, it might be the finish of the video, we'll see. Stay safe. We're a similar hive mind. Stay safe. Love you, bye.